You're watching KCRG TV9. Now, from your 24-hour news source, this is KCRG TV9 News at 10.
There's no compromising officer safety. It's always paramount.
Recent standoffs remind police officers of the dangers that come with law enforcement. Coming up, we look at the procedures and safety tools available to police.
I announce to you a great joy. We have a pope.
Tonight, Catholics in eastern Iowa and around the world are celebrating the selection of the new pope. A little more than a day. That's all the time Cardinals needed to choose Jorge Bergoglio of Argentina as the new leader of the Roman Catholic Church.
He's now Pope Francis. Tonight, Eastern Iowans react to this historic choice, and we look closer at the man now seated in the chair of St. Peter. Shortly after 1 this afternoon, Iowa time, after the fifth ballot of the conclave, white smoke billowed from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel. It showed the world that the Cardinals had chosen a new pope.
I was at Panera's having lunch today, and I'm getting all these texts, you know, white smoke, white smoke.
Father Mark Ressler of the St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Catholic Church in Hiawatha closely followed the events.
He hands the ballot over to another cardinal.
So did teachers and students at Dubuque-Wahlert High School.
I think really we would have been surprised no matter who it was that was elected. The Holy Spirit works in wonderful ways, and so it's like we can't determine who the Spirit is going to choose.
Benedica al popolo.
As Argentina's top church official, then Cardinal Bergoglio opposed Argentina becoming the first Latin American country to legalize gay marriage. He also opposed euthanasia and free birth control.
I hope he's adaptive. I mean, faith is constantly changing, and the church is always known to be a little slow. Well, that's because we don't necessarily know what's going on right away.
Today, Archbishop Jerome Hannes of Dubuque may have best expressed the feelings of the world's 1.2 billion Catholics. He said, "I am thrilled with the promise of this election. Let us all pray for him," as he asked that God would give him the strength to serve as Bishop of Rome, successor of St. Peter, and pastor of the Universal Church. Pope Francis, then Cardinal Bergoglio, reportedly received the second most votes in the 2005 papal election that selected Benedict. Because of his age, analysts did not consider the 76-year-old to be a front-runner for this conclave. Now here's a closer look at today's historic event by the numbers. We start with the number 1. Cardinal Bergoglio is the first pope to take the name Francis and the first pope from Latin America. 13, that's nearly how many centuries it's been since a Catholic from outside of Europe has become pope. Finally, 25 and a half, that's how many hours it took for the Cardinals to reach the necessary 2/3 majority to elect the new pope. Our coverage continues online. We have a photo gallery and biography of Pope Francis and much more. It's all at kcrg.com.
This is just into our newsroom. One person has died in an apartment fire in Postville this morning. It happened just before 11 in the 600 block of West Post Street. 2 other people were injured in that apartment fire. The State Fire Marshal's office is investigating as to the cause and will bring you more information as it becomes available. Continuing coverage now of flooding in eastern Iowa. The northwest quadrant of Cedar Rapids, homes there as well as streets are experiencing flooding due to an ice jam on the Cedar River. Temporary barriers are in place to prevent further flooding. The city set those up. And also today, the city pumped water from areas that remained with high water. Now the water is slowly dropping. Thanks to today's sunshine, in part, that ice jam is starting to break up. And now the city says it's just waiting for even warmer weather. Cargill is keeping an eye on the water levels near the Cedar Rapids rail yard. Company officials say the high water is interrupting its service. Cargill is currently using other rails for its trains, and the company isn't sure when it's be able to use its full operation again. And at another Cedar Rapids Cargill location, the one on the southwest side, the city has now closed Otis Road from the Cargill plant to Prairie Hatchery Park because of flooding along the Cedar River.
And meteorologist Joe Winters is here now with tonight's first forecast. And Joe, the temperatures are still well below normal for this time of year.
Yeah, we should be seeing highs that are in the middle to upper 40s, which would really help out the ice situation. But as you take a look, we saw a high today of 32 degrees. Now we have 2 days where we will make it back into the 40s, and Friday we do hit 45. But it's not long lasting, and overnight temperatures are still dropping below freezing, so not a lot of help from the temperatures nor the sunshine for the next couple of days. I'm glad we got to see some of the sun today. Right now we take a look at our current readings. We're as cold as 14 in Mason City, as warm in eastern Iowa as 33 degrees, that down in Mount Pleasant. And we do have mainly clear skies across the area and very, very light winds. There's an area of high pressure on top of us, keeps us quiet for the next several hours. By morning, though, some clouds and some light snow showers, or maybe a little bit of light rain snow mix as we head toward 9 o'clock. Not a lot, though, shouldn't add to any problems. By noon, our temperature does jump above freezing at 36 degrees. There's another chance of a little wintry mix of precipitation on Friday. We'll detail that and take a look at our weekend forecast coming up.
Thank you, Joe. Police in western Iowa were involved in a 9-hour standoff today. It started as a domestic dispute around 1 this morning in Sioux City. Police say a man barricaded himself in his home and refused to come out. A SWAT team broke house windows and eventually took the man into custody. No one was hurt. Incidents like that one, as well as that standoff in North Liberty Sunday, are reminders of the dangers police face every day. TV9's Chris Earl is live in Cedar Rapids with that story. Chris?
Good evening, Beth. When you think about what happened on Sunday in North Liberty, it happened so quickly, but yes, it does serve as a reset for so many in law enforcement, really everywhere, to stay safe when they're out on the streets patrolling, because every traffic stop, every police call does bring an element of danger. From the first call to more officers and more officers, a police call can turn into a fully involved situation at any time.
Each call is different.
Cedar Rapids Police Chief Wayne German talked about keeping officers safe amid this latest reminder of how dangerous the job can be. Sunday's incident in North Liberty, where investigators say a man shot 3 officers, brings the risk any sworn officer understands.
The officers receive the training, and then annually in-service trainings required by the state, and then we do periodic training with the shifts in the platoons.
A violent incident can be hard to predict. It was 4 years ago this month when Cedar Rapids police officer Tim Davis was severely beaten on a robbery call. Nearly 2 years ago, Keokuk County Sheriff's Deputy Eric Stein was shot and killed during a call in rural Sigourney. Sergeant Dan Jabins also showed us what a Cedar Rapids police officer wears, including a vest and a Glock.
Everything we wear it every day on the street. Not a single officer goes out with any of the scare.
We're trained to respond to certain calls in a certain manner. So again, you're not going to be of any assistance to anyone, whether it be a citizen or another officer, if you don't arrive safely.
As for those training days the police chief of Cedar Rapids talked about, he said that there are 3 in-service training days that are required by the state, plus they have other days where they all do train together, again, working as teams and staying safe. Sergeant Javins, while he was showing us all the protective gear as part of the uniform, including the vest, he said it's really just part of being an officer. You don't really give it a second thought. But again, after what happened on Sunday night, plenty of thoughts going out to stay safe from anyone who's really in law enforcement here in eastern Iowa. Live in downtown Cedar Rapids, Chris Earl, KCRG TV9 News.
In a TV9 follow-up, a Central Iowa superintendent on paid administrative leave has resigned. 51-year-old Bob Weber was the superintendent of AGWSR schools. That includes the towns of Ackley, Geneva, Wellsburg, and Steamboat Rock. Earlier this month, we told you county authorities were investigating Weber, but have not said exactly what for. Weber had been the superintendent since 2008. A Republican-controlled Iowa House committee passed an education budget today, totaling nearly $900 million. But the bill falls short of the goals of both Governor Branstad and Senate Democrats. The bill would increase funding for the 3 state universities by $16 million and for community colleges by $10 million. There is no inclusion of money to freeze tuition rates, though. The proposal does include $5 million for education reform. That's well below the $14 million the governor requested. The bill now goes to the full House for debate next week.
Today, the Iowa Senate approved $11.6 million for treatment of mental health patients. This money will be split up between 26 different counties that request the funding. The bill now goes to Governor Branstad for his signature. The Iowa House passed a flat tax option today. This plan would allow Iowans to pay a 4.5% income tax instead of the current progressive tax. They'd have the choice. Most tax deductions and credits, though, would not be available under the flat tax. The plan now goes to the Democratic-controlled Senate.
Marion is one step closer to having an outdoor theater. When we return, we take a look at a new grant they received to bring more entertainment to the city.
An Iowa City police officer pulls over a speeding driver, never expecting to help deliver a baby. See the video when we return here on KCRG TV 9.
You're only... Oh, I know he's here! He's here! I got him right now! Okay. Yeah, I've got a woman delivering a baby.
An Iowa City police officer got an unexpected surprise after pulling a car over for speeding. Sunday, Officer Kevin Wolf was on patrol when a car sped past at twice the legal limit.
Well, he pulled over the driver, as you'd expect, only to find out the woman inside was giving birth. And less than a minute after they stopped, the baby was born. Police say the baby boy appeared to be very healthy. Wolf says it was one of the most memorable experiences of his career. He helped coach the woman along and got her a blanket to wrap the baby. Wolf says he's never seen a baby come so quickly.
The driver jumped out, and it was the father, and he was like, "We're having a baby," and my first response, you know, I have 4 kids of my own, was like, "Well, these things take time, sir." So I walked around, and we went to the passenger side and opened the door, and they were in fact having a baby.
Wolf then escorted the family to the hospital, which was just a couple of blocks away. By the way, he did not write them a speeding ticket, and police say the family is doing fine.
The Dow closed up 5 points today at yet another all-time high with 9 consecutive days of gains. It's the longest streak since 1996. Known for its crops, Iowa and the rest of the nation may be losing ground as leaders in soybean and ethanol production. U.S. farmers harvest more than 3 billion bushels of soybeans a year. An Iowa State grain expert, though, says Brazil is on pace to surpass that. A U.S. Department of Energy report says ethanol production is down 14% from last year. That's in large part to at least 20 plants closing last year. Iowa is home to 41 ethanol plants.
Marion received a grant today to help build a new amphitheater. Vision Iowa's Community Attraction and Tourism Committee awarded more than $1.25 million to 6 different projects in the state. Marion received a $250,000 grant from that for the Low Park Amphitheater. The project is expected to cost about $1.7 million.
Camps could be closing for Girl Scouts. Hear what some former Scouts are doing to show just how important these camps are.
And today it was another day with highs in the 30s, but the 40s are coming to make a return visit to eastern Iowa. We'll have your complete forecast next on your 24-hour news and weather source, KCRG TV 9.
Now, the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Joe Winters.
Hope you enjoyed the day. It was a beautiful one across eastern Iowa, and our sunshine of today will be replaced by some clouds. So let's just watch the day go by way of our Prairie du Chien City cam. Some melting along the river with that sunshine helped, and it was a beautiful sunset across all of eastern Iowa as well. Now we're watching slowly, very slowly, some clouds increase across the state. In Cedar Rapids, we're at 23, Prairie du Chien at 25, 22 in Waterloo, 26 Iowa City, and Sigourney right now at 28 with Dubuque at 23. Winds fairly light, really not a big problem tonight. They'll remain light and variable and ultimately turn around to a more southwesterly direction. Now, it was a good thing we had the clear skies, because remember last night and tonight we showed you that you would be able to take a look at the comet Pan-STARRS. Now, you can still see it tomorrow night as well. Unfortunately, I think some clouds will be around, and 2 of our viewers sent in some pictures for us. Take a look at this. This is from Carrie Lawrence in Cedar Rapids. The moon up to the top, right here, the small area enlarged. That is the comet Pan-STARRS as it was seen tonight. And also we had one other photograph from Dave Johnson in West Branch, also photographed that comet. Both of these about a 20 to 30 second exposure. So thanks for sending those in and for taking that look beyond the weather. Tomorrow, if we can get some clearing, Take a look again. The comet does remain in the sky. Our weather tonight was controlled by an area of high pressure. Very, very quiet conditions, but there are two disturbances that'll kind of roll through here. They're not strong by any means, but as they roll into the area, a little light precipitation could develop, particularly morning, early afternoon on Thursday, and then again late on Friday as a disturbance rolls through. There could be a little light snow or a little light wintry mix. If you get some in your area, yes, of course, it can cause a slippery travel spot, so we'll certainly keep an eye on it. But again, it's going to be fairly light in nature. 6 a.m., maybe a little activity up toward Decorah. Sneaks through the area. Tama, Washington, probably not seeing much at all on Thursday. Clouds break up a bit as we head through Thursday evening into Friday morning. And then again, late Friday, the clouds, and we'll see some scattered or isolated spots of a wintry mix develop and push across the area. Again, it does remain very light. 18 in Dubuque, 19 degrees in Cedar Rapids, 20 in Iowa City tonight. Look for a southwest wind at 5 to 10 as those clouds build. From 38 to about 46 degrees, Washington the closest to normal tomorrow. With the clouds thickening up, there's a chance of little light rain or snow, as we said, particularly in northeastern Iowa during the morning and early afternoon. Southwest winds at 10 to 15. Take a look at the extended forecast. 45 Friday, the warmest day. Saturday, we're already back down to 38 degrees, and it does appear that we stay in the 30s, working through St. Patrick's Day with a chance of some rain, maybe a mix on Monday with 38 and 36 degrees on Tuesday. There's a look at your bus stop forecast for tomorrow morning. There could be some light snow or a few flurries, but nothing that will cause any problems. Temperature near 24 degrees. Bruce and Beth are back with more next. Keep it here on TV 9.
People flew in from around the country to protest the closing of some Girl Scout camps in Iowa that they say changed their lives. Last night in Davenport, former and current Girl Scout members held a town meeting.
They came together to try and stop the closings of 4 camps in eastern Iowa that the national organization says it has to sell. The organization says a lack of interest in these camps have them leaning toward selling them. WQAD's Megan Noe takes us to the woman who says there's plenty of interest and she's fighting to keep them open.
No decision has been made yet.
More than 100 women packed the meeting room.
People started emailing each other, people started calling each other, and people came out of the woodwork.
Girl Scouts, young and old, from far and wide.
I flew in today from Colorado. I just felt I needed to show some support for the effort to try and save the camps. I'm a former camper.
It was support and worries that brought the former camper, counselor, and director of Camp Conestoga nearly 1,000 miles back to Bettendorf.
I'm concerned about what's going to happen to the over 10,000 girls who use those camp properties every year.
And that summer I spent 6 weeks.
Like one-time camper Jane Duax, who credits a summer at Camp Conestoga with turning her life around.
I never looked back after that summer between 7th and 8th grade. I really feel like it truly saved my life.
It's why a grassroots effort has sprung up. YouTube songs,
Girl Scout camps,
Facebook pages, online petitions, all to SOS or Save Our Scout Camps.
I want it for my daughter and for her to have that same opportunity through her high school years as I did. If it wasn't for camping, I wouldn't have stayed in Girl Scouts.
The women worry that selling the camps is a move away from the Girl Scout Foundation of Outdoor Skills for Girls, a foundation that for them has made all the difference.
And as hokey as that might sound, to people go, okay, yeah, she's a Girl Scout. For me, it truly was a defining, changing moment in my life. Changed who I was, fundamentally changed who I was.
Megan Noe with that report. The Council Board of Directors is set to vote on whether to keep the camps open on March 28th.
Well, both Iowa and Iowa State are getting ready for tournament play tomorrow. Josh will look at both teams as they prepare next in sports.
Stay with your 24-hour news source, KCRG TV 9.
Now, KCRG TV 9 Sports with Josh Christensen.
Welcome back, everybody. Several players have been stepping up for the Hawkeyes the past few games, and one of them is sophomore and London's own Gabe Olashaney. Scott Sable has the story.
He didn't start playing basketball until he was 14 years old, and let's face it, London, England isn't exactly a hotbed for high school basketball. But when Fran first laid eyes on Olaseni, he knew he had enormous upside.
How many guys run like that? There wasn't any doubt in my mind or Andrew's that he was going to be a player.
I've been playing for like 7 years right now, so I'm pretty happy with the way I progressed, but obviously the goal is to improve every day, so I feel as though going into the Big Ten tournament and hopefully continue our season, I'm very confident in the way I'm playing.
It has taken a while for that upside to develop, but Gabe has improved drastically this season, especially on defense, where he has turned into a human fly swatter. 7 blocks against Illinois. He is a game changer on defense, and he's also helping them on the offensive end with his passing and finishing ability around the rim.
He's a guy that continues to work hard. He's a guy that really concentrates his athletic ability and his ability to guard a small guy, to run down a guy from behind and block a shot. But he's just more relaxed. He's getting more minutes. The more minutes he gets, we always said if we just gave him more minutes, he'd probably settle down.
More confidence. He knows where he can make a big impact on the game, which is with his blocking shots and running. So, he's doing that. He's altering the game when he gets in there. If he's playing 10 minutes, if he's playing 20 minutes, if he's playing 5 minutes, he's doing something out there that's kind of putting a stamp on the game, which is big. And that all comes from his confidence. We've seen him do that in practice, but it was kind of that next step that he had to take when he could do it in front of everyone else. And, he's starting to do that, and I'm really proud of him.
Thanks, Scott, for that report. Olaseni and the Hawkeyes will tip off the Big Ten tournament against Northwestern in Chicago tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. The Cyclones tip off against Oklahoma tomorrow in the Big 12 tournament. 11 days ago, Oklahoma defeated Iowa State in Norman 86-69, and it wasn't pretty at all. The Cyclones know if they want to win, they'll need a big game from senior and Big 12 Rookie of the Year Will Clyburn. He only had 6 points at Oklahoma, but in the last 2 games, he's averaged 24 points a game.
Scoring it comes a lot easier once I'm in the rhythm of the game, and even with my teammates out there, they're helping me get the ball, and it comes a lot easier. I know I had a bad couple of games, but players are gonna have bad games, good games, so I'm just coming around again.
We had a nice players-only meeting after the game in Norman, and we just kind of got everything off our chest. And we talked about for us to be successful, we need him. We can't have him, having games where he kind of just disappears and doesn't, where he doesn't play well, honestly. And I think he's been playing his best basketball these past 2 games.
The Big 12 tournament did start today for some teams. Texas Tech and West Virginia. Jabari Hines, top of the key, nails the 3-pointer, puts West Virginia up 66-64 in the closing minutes. 5 seconds left, tied at 69. Texas Tech, desperation shot doesn't go, but Dejan Krevich gets the rebound and the putback. Texas Tech goes on to win 71-69. NFL news, the Tennessee Titans have agreed to a 3-year, $10 million contract on former Hawkeye running back Sean Green. Spent the last 4 seasons with the New York Jets, and Iowa State wrestling coach Kevin Jackson has signed an extension with the Cyclones.
Staying with the Clones.
There you go.
Thanks.
Josh. And a cold one out there.
Teens, 20s, I think, as we move through the overnight. We'll be watching your morning drive, maybe see a little recovery in temperature because a few more clouds will move in, about 24. And at that time, some light snow is possible. This is true mainly across northeastern Iowa, but Cedar Rapids, Dubuque, we may see a light snow shower or flurry as we head into the early afternoon. Winds will be swinging around toward the southwest. Bring us a high tomorrow of 41. We can take that, and 45 on Friday. Late Friday, again, a chance of a little bit of a light wintry mix. The weekend, kind of half and half. Saturday's nice and quiet. St. Patrick's Day, maybe a few showers. Monday's the day to watch, though. Rain, snow, a little better chance, I think, than the other days with 38 degrees. Generally cool.
Yeah, for this time of year, it is.
Thank you, Joe. And thank you for joining us for KCRG TV 9 News at 10.
Hope to have you with us again tomorrow, and until then, have a good night.